Zoom fatigue, probably a term that many of you haven't heard. Some might have, but few have actually given very much thought to what this actually is. Let's give you a few stats. Zoom is the most popular video conference platform in 44 countries worldwide. And the most recent study shows that Zoom slightly outranks Microsoft Teams, the preferred option for virtual meetings in actual 41 countries. Google Meet is in the third place, being the dominant platform for 21 countries, and Skype, most popular in 12. On average, employees attend 62 meetings every month. And scary thought is, they consider half of these meetings to be a total waste of time. Furthermore, 92% of employees admit to not being entirely focused and doing other tasks when they attend them. On the other hand, 71% of senior managers find meetings unproductive and believe that 2 out of 3 meetings fail to communicate their objectives. 56% of employees claim that their Zoom meetings run on too long. And according to their responses, the length of the video calls is the main contributor to Zoom fatigue. 52% of workers agree that sharing their monitor for the duration of these calls is exhausting. Moreover, 49% believe they participate in meetings that absolutely serve no purpose. For 38% of those workers, seeing themselves on a live feed is actually tiring. And 36% of employees point out to the limitation of body movement as a cause for Zoom fatigue. Finally, 35% say that constant eye contact also contributes to exhaustion. Only 31% of remote workers have no struggles with working from home. And one of the most common challenges with this type of work is being able to unplug after they're done, which is the case for 25% of the employees. 24% admit to being lonely, while 21% say they have trouble focusing and staying motivated. 37.1% of employees point out that Zoom fatigue is the greatest challenge of virtual meetings. And a recent survey shows this to be the most common answer regarding virtual meeting difficulties. More than a third of the employees believe they attend far too many meetings. Additionally, 24.7% of workers say that lack of personal connection is their biggest obstacle, while technology and connection issues were the most challenging for 20.1%. Consider that brainstorming and collaboration were the primary issues for 14.1% of employees and 4% provided the other answers. We read that over 30 million American workers are actually impacted by Zoom fatigue. 49% of the respondents in a recent survey on Zoom fatigue agree that video calls on Zoom are more exhausting than when the cameras are off. Now that's where my story comes in. One morning in March 2021, I couldn't get out of bed. Kept the curtains closed and turned off my phone. I'd actually got 2 Zoom sessions planned that day. And just the thought of even opening up my laptop scared the living daylights out of me. I just couldn't. Those of you who understand will know the impact that the brain has on one's decisions. This is the first time in my life that I'd actually been driven to a standstill. Make no mistake, I'm no stranger to PTSD and manic depression, but this was a whole new level of cannot. My partner at the time came home and she stayed with me the whole day and took me to a psychiatrist next. Granted, the medication took an edge off for a while, but drove me suicidal. So I saw another psychiatrist 3 months later who showed me a whole different picture of life. The next morning, I popped a collection of meds, took the bicycle out for a ride. 18 months later, something else changed and I stopped the meds immediately. Fast forward to today, and here we are, unmedicated and chatting to you. Now, the current estimates show that more than 25 million people work from home, and another 41 million have office jobs that include Zoom meetings. And according to these numbers, Zoom fatigue potentially affects more than 30 million American workers. Only 9% of their cameras, of the employees, have their cameras turned on during meetings because that's what they prefer. Now, as agreed by 28% of workers, the most significant reason employees have their webcams active during Zoom meetings is because their meeting leader requests so. Another 26% turn their camera on because they feel like they have to when they see the entire group is on camera. Video calls are a company policy for 23% of the employees and the departmental policy for another 10%. So these workers have their cameras on during meetings because they have to. Now, 60% of employees pay attention to this. 60% of employees agree that being on camera makes them feel more engaged with the team. However, they also say that being on camera for 2 to 3 hours every day gets exhausting very quickly. So whether it's the loss of body language cues, the feeling of being constantly on, or just the general drain of staring at a screen all day, it's clear that people are struggling to maintain their mental health while using Zoom. Zoom fatigue is definitely a real phenomenon, and it's something that people are struggling with all over the world. So if you're feeling burned out from too much Zoom, take heart in knowing that you're not alone. And if you're looking for ways to combat Zoom fatigue, there are plenty of things you can do to mitigate the effects, including taking breaks, setting limits to your screen time, and making sure that you get enough rest. Now, being mindful of the potential for video conference-related fatigue, you can help ensure that your meetings are productive and enjoyable. Does that make sense? Let's hope it brings a different picture to your ideas regarding Zoom training. Let's bring those face-to-faces back.